so we can do this podcast now.
There you go.
All right.
I don't know if it was me or if it was something with Hangouts or
I don't know
what it is. It's probably me.
Probably.
This Windows 10 thing really doesn't like me rushing through what I try to do. So,
dude, why does it take your computer 10 minutes to boot up? It shouldn't do that.
It did the last time because it was from that stupid hibernation that Windows put it in. This time it didn't. It did it in about 3 to 5.
Dude, that's still too long.
If it goes into that hibernation that Windows puts it in, it wants to. It just does.
It shouldn't take that long.
I'll send you the emails about people complaining about what Windows 10 does to their computer when it goes to sleep.
Okay.
Or I
put mine to sleep all the time and it pops right back up.
Blog post. Yeah. I don't know if it has to do with Dell laptops or what it is, but
if I put mine to sleep, I turn it on, I enter my password, and I'm up and running.
Yeah. Doesn't happen. Can't figure out how to do it.
Need to quit that. Turn that off. Okay. All right. You ready?
Sure.
We're an hour behind. You got the intro ready to
go? Maybe. Tom Merritt is the guy's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does the Daily News Tech Show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Dude, I was just listening to that Teakwood Bets I sent you, man. You're really going to enjoy that. I will be amazingly surprised if you don't enjoy that.
Okay.
Okay. Email disclaimer, Kingpin, Uncanny Inhumans, Invincible Iron Man, Spidey Silk, X-Men, Daredevil. Yes, I believe I'm ready. Oh, okay. 2-6. Email, website. Get the snorting and sniffling and coughing out of the way. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let's do bladder check. We're good on the bladder front.
Did that while we were doing everything.
Okay. All right. I'm going to count it down. 3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 Months Behind podcast, where we discuss everything related to the Marvel Unlimited app. I'm Pat.
And I am Sean.
And we're the Leo Laporte and Tom Merritt of the Marvel Unlimited world. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I like that little that callback to old school twit. I like it.
Well, I was listening to This Week in Tech, and it was just funny, man. You need to listen to. I guess it was probably from 2-5. They recorded on the weekends, so it would be the weekend of 2-5. And Leo Laporte was arguing with some guy from Apple, and literally the rest of the people just called him a grumpy old man. I mean, because he was just shouting this guy down, and this guy wasn't backing up, man. And he was some kid, and he was just yelling back at him. And they were arguing about Apple and what Apple was going to do this year. And it goes on for like 30 minutes, man. It's hilarious. I mean, it's great, man.
As someone who has regularly consumed podcasts and media from Twit and Leo Laporte personally, I can tell you he's becoming a grumpy old man.
It was fun. I mean, it was entertaining because I respected both their positions, and I really enjoy Leo at times. Yeah, but I think the kid really knew what he was talking about, and I think Leo was wrong on this occasion.
Right, Leo just didn't want to be wrong.
He just didn't want to be wrong. And at one point, Leo actually told the kid, "Look, I hope you're right." And it's worth going. It's a This Week in Tech newscast or This Week in Tech podcast from the weekend of 2-5. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, he always does it on Sundays.
Right. And it's what they're basically talking about is this kid thinks that Apple is basically going to take their next generation of technology, the phone, the iPad, everything, and basically make it virtual reality, a form of 3D. And that's and he makes a very strong case for it. And I can't explain that, but he explained how they're going to do it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sure. I've already been reading about how they're going to skip a 7S and just go straight to the 8 in the fall.
Yeah.
And all the things they're changing with the iPhone 8. In fact, they're going to have 3 models, one of which is going to be an OLED screen, and it's going to cost like $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what this guy was talking about. And he's got a lot of sources. And there was one company that actually, I forget what it was, but they put their product on display at the Consumer Electronics Show. And after about 2 hours, Apple had them remove the product from the booth. So they have a booth set up at the Consumer Electronics Show and nothing to display. They're just standing around talking because Apple had them remove all their virtual reality products.
Why?
Apparently it had something to do with what Apple was releasing this fall, and Apple didn't want the technology out there.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting.
You should really listen to the podcast. It's very interesting.
I'll check it out.
So while we're geeking out,
everyone
knows there's a new Fire Emblem game out,
right?
And I'm like, okay, I'm 52, right? I leave the doctor the other day. I go from the doctor to GameStop to a comic book store. Okay, I'm 50. I'm driving along thinking, okay, am I 52 or am I 16? You know, from the comic book store to GameStop, dude. I mean, I'm 16. Then I go home, think about whether or not I want to buy a 3D or 2DS for a few minutes, and then turn around and go back to GameStop, trade a bunch of stuff in, and buy a 2DS and a game for it. So yes, I'm just an overgrown teenager, even though I'm 52 years old. Yeah. Then I'm in Cracker Barrel Saturday, and I see this little 10-year-old kid, and he's playing a game on his 2DS, and it was the coolest racing game in the world. And I'm like 5 feet away looking over his shoulder, and I wanted so bad to tap this kid on the shoulders. Hey, man, what's the game? Just tell me what the name of the game is so I can play it. Better yet, let me see the cartridge. And I'm thinking somewhere this kid's dad is standing around, and he's going to see me talking to the kid and think I'm a pervert and beat the snot out of me. Okay.
Yeah, and you're just like, no, I just wanted to know what video game it was as you're getting punched in the face. I just want to talk to him about
video games. You know, I just want to talk to him about video games, and he's not going to understand. He's going to beat the snot out. He's going to drag me out of the Cracker Barrel with my shirt as he's pounding on me. You know, I can just see it happening. You know, and I felt okay. I won't know what video game it is. I have to figure it out for myself.
I just asked him.
I wanted to so bad, but I thought, you know, this guy will think I'm his dad. Somewhere his dad is around, and this will end badly for me. Yeah. So I didn't. I didn't. Well, but I am really enjoyed the Fire Emblem games.
Good.
But the one on the phone and the one I got for the 2DS.
Dude, they're good games, and you know, you and I had the conversation earlier this week. I don't know why Nintendo's not marketing them better.
I have no idea, man. I look at the games. I sent you a link today because you were asking me about games for it. So I sent you a link about games for the 3DS. There's just a boatload of games out there for it that are coming out. And why Nintendo isn't making more of the console, why they're not marketing it, I have no idea. None.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
We can talk about comic books this week.
Yeah, I think we should get to comic books at some point. But before we do, if you want to get in touch with us, please email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6 months behind at gmail.com. You can also visit our website,
www.6monthsbehind.com.
And just to let you guys know, like we do every week, we do discuss minor spoilers to the plot elements of these comic books. Like we're saying, we review all the books every week. We talk about in detail what goes on, so you might get spoiled. We try not to reveal huge things, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, sometimes I like get to the end of a book and I'm not going to tell you about the last 2 pages, and then Sean does anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, occasionally.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
So,
yes. Starting off with Civil War, our Civil War II books. That's our big event going on, so we'll start there. Kingpin #2.
This was a good little book.
You know, it was good. It'd be a whole lot better if the art didn't look like utter garbage.
You know, there are times we talk about style, and sometimes I think I just don't appreciate style. And sometimes I just think this is trash. This book is trash. It's just bad art. I mean, there's one page where the Kingpin's face is just a round white ball.
Yeah.
Literally, just a round white ball. That's it.
I can enjoy it, or at the very least appreciate a number of different art styles, but this one it's just bad.
It really is. It really is.
If the paneling were not so straightforward, I'd have no idea what was going on, because the art is just so it looks like it was just roughly sketched.
Yes.
Expressions are bad. They're real bad. So,
and this is actually an interesting story, and it's kind of like a mystery where there's moving pieces, and you've got the young man that the Kingpin has, who's Janice, whose power protects him from Ulysses. So Kingpin is able to operate and actually commit crimes and do things, which is basically the synopsis of the story. And he's basically reclaiming his power in New York City, because Janice protects him from Ulysses, protects him from the superheroes. And then at some point Janice gets injured and Kingpin nurses him back to health. And then at the end of the book, or the end of the issue, there's a problem with Kingpin, and you don't know who's involved in it. If Janice is involved in it, if someone else is involved in it. So it's a nice little murder. I was going to say murder mystery, a nice little mystery series. And you see, it's a nice little view of the Kingpin, and how he's consolidating his mafia power, if you will.
Right. I mean,
the art is just so bad, it's almost distracting.
Yeah, I mean, in a time where the Kingpin has been in prison, he's lost his empire, and you've got Ulysses running around, and none of these criminals can do anything. They get busted before they even sneeze. He has found a way to circumvent that, and he's rebuilding his criminal empire, and there's no one there to challenge him, because he's got Janice by his side, who is invisible to Ulysses. But that seems to be unraveling as we get along in the book. And it's a really great story. The art just sucks.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did too. Even with the bad art. That's the amazing thing. Yeah,
that's the thing, is like the art was really bad, but I still enjoyed the story. In fact, I was 3 or 4 pages in, and that was my first thought was, I really enjoy this, but holy crap, the art sucks.
Yeah. So that brings us to Uncanny Inhumans #12.
Also a book that I enjoyed. We talked about I think it was last time we talked about this book. You ever just feel like a comic book is just spinning its wheels, and then eventually it finds traction and goes somewhere?
Absolutely.
I feel like the last issue of this, and then this book itself, it's really done that. We pick up in the aftermath of the destruction of Stark Tower, when did that happen? When did that destroy Stark Tower? Because I don't.
Issue 11. It was the end of Uncanny Inhumans #11.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Very, very last panel of Uncanny Inhumans #11.
Okay. Somewhere my brain didn't.
Maximus and Gorgon did it at the end of issue 11.
Right. So you've got what's her name? The Queen, Medusa. Medusa, who's looking at this happening from New Attilan. She puts the whole city on lockdown, which, you know, everybody says, hey, won't that make us look guilty? And to which she says, yeah, I don't really care. We got to protect ourselves from Tony Stark or whatever's coming. They then proceed to begin to investigate who would have done this, because if they can go to Tony Stark and say, hey, we didn't do it, here's who did, it can absolve them of suspicion, because they're the number one suspects right now, even though they didn't destroy the tower. So it turns out that it was Gorgon and Maximus the Mad, and then they've sent Lash out and his crew to destroy another Stark facility in Switzerland. At some point,
correct,
they become aware of that, and we have to pause for a minute. Hang on. All right. Sorry. I had to yell at somebody at UPS.
Did it do you any good?
No. They called me to tell me that it couldn't be delivered.
Didn't we already decide that?
Yeah, but anyway, let's continue with comics.
Hang on.
All right.
Fixing my rifle.
Sorry, I hated to do that, but they called.
It's okay. I was wondering whose phone was buzzing. I was looking at mine.
Yeah, it was mine. All right. 3, 2.
Where are we picking up at?
I'll pick it up.
Pick it up. Go.
3, 2, 1. So Medusa is tracking down whoever it is that blew up Stark Tower. She goes to Venice to talk to her. Is it her son-in-law?
No, it's her son.
Their son, but I forget exactly how they're related.
It's her son.
Is it? Because Maximus Mad talks about him. Okay, I guess he's talking about his relation to Medusa and Black Bolt, not Medusa's relationship.
Well, he's talking about Right. He's talking about his relationship to Medusa because Medusa and Black Bolt aren't on good terms.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if they're divorced, but they're not on good terms at this point.
Yeah. No. Of course. So she goes to see her son at the Inelixis Corporation.
You got me, man.
Inelix. I actually Googled it a little bit, and apparently it's a company that is actually a part of another group of Inhumans. Like, it was a group of Inhumans who became a company later on, and yeah, I don't know. They've been around a long time. So she goes to confront him, saying,
"Go ahead."
They're a company that what?
They're the group of Inhumans that operated outside of Attilan and interacted with the world and raised funds and supported the Inhumans that stayed in Attilan for centuries. So while the royal family stayed inside, they stayed outside and amassed power and wealth for the rest of the Inhumans.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically what I understood. So she goes to her son and says, "Look, did you blow up Tony Stark's tower?" To which he says, "No, of course not." It's about that time that news breaks in that Lash and a number of other Inhumans are attacking a Stark facility, which now they've figured out who did this. Medusa and her team teleport in and beat up Lash and his bad guys. And that's about the time Carol Danvers shows up saying, "Hey, what did you do?" And I don't think Medusa has figured it out yet necessarily, but Maximus the Mad has set her up for this very situation.
Yes.
He did this setting her up so that she'd get in trouble with the, I don't know what you're calling Carol Danvers and her crew, but
well, it's not just that. He wants her to look bad in front of the whole human race.
Mm-hmm.
Or with the humans.
Mm-hmm. Right. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. You broke up a little bit. I wasn't sure where you went.
No. I was saying Maximus wants, and what Gorgon wants is they feel that Medusa looks weak to the Inhumans. So what they want is the Inhumans at war with the human race.
Right. Which is coming anyway, I think. I think that despite everything, that's already going to happen. They're going to go to war with the X-Men, and then they're going to be branded, the equivalent of what the mutants used to be, and humans will hate them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Either way, it was a pretty good book.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Wouldn't you agree?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about Invincible Iron Man number 12?
I really, Brian Michael Bendis is doing a great job with this book. Or Tony Stark, I should say, sitting on the rubble of what was Stark Towers, which we just discussed the discussion of. And he's sitting there wanting ketchup for his cheeseburger, I believe.
Yeah, there's this like crew all around him cleaning up the rubble, and he's just sitting in the rubble eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah, and what you and I discussed this now. At the bottom of page 2, maybe it's page 3, whichever page it is. Mary Jane is wearing a Hannibal Lecter mask. Have we ever figured this out?
Yeah, it's a breathing apparatus. Because if you look on the page, that same page, she's wearing a tank on her back.
Okay, but why is no one else?
Because the
fireman Maria Hill isn't.
Because the artist is bad at his job.
Tony isn't.
No, the artist
None
is
of the
bad at their
firemen are.
job. Yeah, the artist is bad. He put one on. Yeah, Mike Diodato screwed up here because he put one on Mary Jane for whatever reason and didn't give anyone else one. And I don't know if that was some sort of direction in the writing or not, but either way, it's never explained or pointed out in any way, and it looks stupid.
Okay. Anyway, on the next page, we flash back to 3 weeks before, where Tony Stark says, "Hey, I'm back from the dead. Everything's great. Nothing to see here." And he's speaking to all the employees. Then he starts talking to the board of directors, who aren't exactly happy that Tony Stark is back and his AI has been running the company.
Yeah.
And he starts arguing with this one dude in particular. What's this dude's name? I don't know, but he and that guy started arguing that he had the ghost go into his vault, and they say it's not over. And at that point, Tony realizes he has absolutely no support on the board, possibly not even Mary Jane's. And he starts arguing with his AI about how bad this whole disaster really is. And Tony realizes, yeah, it's pretty bad. Then he goes to see his doctor friend that he's been dating, and she ain't there because she's over in Latveria hanging out with Dr. Doom. I'm not sure he knows that.
That's my speculation. And, I'm fairly sure that that's where she's at.
We're almost all positive, certain of that. I mean, that's what I thought when I read it. Because Dr. Doom is advancing her research.
Right. A couple issues ago, he showed up and showed her to how to advance her research.
Right. And you also, and I know what's coming in these Iron Man books. We won't spoil it for everyone else, but we know what's coming.
Yeah. I also have a suspicion that she's going to be dating Dr. Doom when Tony shows up and is like, "Hey, I came to find you." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, by the way, we're a thing now because you've been gone for weeks."
Right.
Yeah.
All this happens to take place at MIT, where he runs into the dean, who happens to say, "Oh, by the way, did you know Riri Williams is working on your armor, and that's why I thought you were here." So he goes to see Riri Williams at her home in Chicago, where she and her mother happen to be arguing about the armor when Tony just lets himself into her bedroom and wants to see the armor. And after some, is it the garage or the bedroom?
Yeah, there's a garage door that's wide open. There are tools everywhere. So he just kind of walks up. And
I thought it was her bedroom.
No. Unless she's got a gaping hole in the wall in her bedroom.
Well, if you got an Iron Man suit, you might.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad art, so.
Well, the art's not bad. It's just.
I thought it was windows. Okay, it is a garage door. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, she's like, "Hey, I'm doing the hero thing."
Yeah. Yeah, then they decide to go out to supper, and apparently they live happily ever after. Then we're back at the top of the heap, and that's when you realize during the conversation there that Tony Stark's mental breakdown is continuing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's breaking down as much as you guys think he is.
I think he is.
As much as he's having like a moment of clarity.
From what I read in Civil War 4 and what I'm reading in this issue, yeah, I think he's breaking down.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I think he's got it right. At least on the Civil War issue, I think he's got it right.
I don't know. Then at the end of the issue, he winds up allying himself with Victor Von Doom. So,
well, he's kind of been allied with Victor Von Doom because Doom's a good guy these days, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's breaking down.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, that's the end of our Civil War books, and 3 of them were good, I think.
Yeah, all 3 were really good. I enjoyed them thoroughly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Which brings us to our Spider-Man books.
Yep. Starting with Spidey number 9. I'm not going to linger on this too long. Spidey's being hunted by Kraven the Hunter. They have a little throwdown in an alley. Craven gets away. Jameson doesn't want to pay Peter Parker for his pictures. There's a interesting little bit with Doc Ock and Craven. You see they're working together, and a sweet little moment with Peter and Aunt May for her birthday. Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it was, is what it is.
Yeah.
This Spidey book is always it's the same thing every week, really. It's classic Spider-Man stories. If you're not into the new Clone Saga thing they're doing, or anything that's going on in the main Spider-Man books, maybe you should read this because it's the fluff that you want.
Yeah. Speaking of dead, we have Silk number 11, where she spends time with her dead boyfriend, who probably won't be dead for long because everybody's about to be dead no more.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's this, I don't forget his name, Phantom or whatever. Heck, what's his code name? His hero name, Phantom or something like that. He's saved her butt a couple of times. And in this most recent one, he reveals himself to be Hector, her former ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, his name's Hector. I don't know what his code name is.
Phantom or something like that. Anyway, she's explaining all this to her shrink. And then her whole thing with Mockingbird and her anger issues and everything going on with her boss at work, who gave her a promotion, but somehow she's not happy about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Her friends finally find out that she's actually Silk. They've known for a minute, but they finally confront her about being Silk. Turns out they're not really mad about it. They want to help her. So it looks like you're kind of assembling Team Silk here.
Yeah.
They help her out with infiltrating some base where she's trying to find her parents, right? Isn't that what's going on? She's trying to find information about her parents. So they're infiltrating this lab and trying to find information about her parents, where you find some lady in a weird Spider-Woman costume who I don't know who that is, but apparently it's got something to do with her parents. And then they find this gateway that leads them to another dimension. I don't know if it's the negative zone or what it is, but yeah, this book took an interesting turn. It was just her talking about her anger issues and her boyfriend issues with her shrink, and all of a sudden she's having a conversation with her friends about being Silk, and then they're in an alternate dimension.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening in this book.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a new story. I think this issue started off a new storyline, so yeah, we'll see. I'm interested. Wherever it was she ended up, it looked really cool. Also, the cover art for this is really good.
The cover art's great. It looked like one of Doctor Strange's worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an alternate reality for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Silk. The whole, we're on issue 11 now. I've enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So next up, we get to argue about Uncanny X-Men number 11.
This book sucks. This book sucks. The writer sucks. The story sucks. It all sucks. Cullen Bunn sucks.
No. No. First off, you got Greg Land drawing it.
Yeah, the art's good.
Okay, you can't tell me the art's bad.
No, it's not.
Secondly, while it's not the best book this week, it is a massive improvement over where this book has been. Because you've got the X-Men trying to infiltrate the Hellfire Club. And you've got Magneto wearing his helmet all the time, so Psylocke can't read his mind. You've got
and she doesn't trust him.
Sabretooth, Psylocke, Monet all trying to infiltrate the Hellfire Club. You got Sabretooth out hunting animals because he's trying to restrain his wild side again. So he's obviously losing control of himself. Come on, man. This book wasn't that bad.
And he runs into Warren, who's both Warren and Archangel, or mostly just Archangel these days. Yeah, right. Okay. I didn't think it was all that. I mean, great,
it wasn't. But don't get me wrong. It wasn't great, but it didn't totally suck. And if they build on this and go somewhere with it,
we'll see. I don't know, man. It's just not interesting me. I don't think it's any good.
I don't think you're living up to the potential you could do with these characters.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the problem, is that you've got too many storylines. It's all too convoluted, and you could do more. You could do better things with these characters. I think that's how I feel about
that I will agree with. I think you could be doing more with it. I think you could be doing more with it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe they're just biding time until IVX, which I think is what's happening. But I don't know. I just feel like this hasn't been all that great.
Yeah, this is definitely. This is an interesting team, and they definitely play a major part in Death of X and IVX.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of this is just writing and putting a team together and building rapport amongst these characters so that you can do cool stuff with them during IVX.
Yeah, and I mean, the art's good. It's an interesting story that I hope is going somewhere. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Okay.
That was the only X-Men book we had this week.
And we didn't have an Avengers book this week.
Nope.
But down in the 616 universe, we had some pretty interesting books.
Yeah, beginning with this Daredevil Annual #1. So you and I have talked about annuals before, but why do they continue to make annuals?
You know, I guess they just want an excuse to do a one-shot.
I guess so, man. And anytime you get an annual like this, it's always these separate stories that don't really have a whole lot to do with anything else. Or at the very least, they use them to tell a different story than the usual story that they're in the middle of telling during the main title.
It's just, it's basically a one-shot, man. And I don't know.
So we get two different stories in this Daredevil annual. This first one, we have the return of Echo. She's out to a concert with her boyfriend, I guess. And this guy starts playing the piano, and the music that he starts playing turns everybody into weird sound zombies. And the only reason Echo doesn't get turned into a sound zombie is she's deaf. So of course she goes looking for Daredevil. Okay.
Let's stop a moment.
Uh-huh.
The villain, who turns out to be Claw, who is a villain who operates via sound. Echo isn't affected because she's deaf.
Yeah.
Everyone is turned into zombies because of the sound. It takes place at a concert. Daredevil has to put on noise-reducing earphones so he won't be affected. Everything that we've just discussed has to do with audio, and it's all brought to you via a visual medium. How do you think that's going to work?
Yep, that's why this is stupid.
That's why this sucks.
It was real bad. Yeah, I was halfway through reading it going, who thought this was a good idea? Who is editing this?
And I have seen Echo be a good character when she interacts with a lot of people that have strengths that play off her weakness. Okay. But when you put other characters with her who have the same weakness, it doesn't work. So when you put all characters who have the same weakness that she does, it doesn't work. You have to put characters around her whose strengths enforce her weak or strengthen her weakness for her to work. Not that everybody reinforces her weakness. It doesn't work. So it sucked.
Yeah. Plus the art's not very good.
No, dude, this was just bad.
And so they go to a recording studio and get some guy to audio engineer a cure for this audio virus and save the day. And okay, whatever.
Now the backup story is pretty good.
Do you think so?
I thought so because Melvin Potter, the Gladiator, has been a hero or a good character for a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
And what they apparently wanted to do was make him a villain again. So to do so, they killed his wife and daughter and didn't have Matt Murdock, Daredevil, there to save him. So because Daredevil wasn't there to save him, Melvin Potter essentially lost his mind, went insane again, and killed a few people, went hunting for Daredevil, and is locked in an insane asylum waiting to get out and go hunting for Daredevil again. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good story. And that was my iPad crashing to the ground.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good story.
It was all right. It was better than the first one, that's for sure.
Yeah, dude. I thought it obviously laid the foundation for something they're going to do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And that being the case, yeah, I enjoyed it. And I if you're going to rehab a villain and make him a hero, do something with him.
Yeah,
make him a hero. Okay, don't just rehab him and then put him on the sidelines, never do anything with him.
Yeah,
which they rehab Melvin Potter, made him a hero, but never did anything with him. They just stuck him on the sidelines, never did anything with him. So, okay, make him a hero. Years ago, 50 years ago, they rehabbed Hawkeye, made him a hero. Okay, now he's a hero. The Black Knight, he started out as a villain, then you make him a hero, now he's a hero. Okay,
well, they rehab he's a villain again.
Okay, yeah, now he's a villain again, whatever. All right, but you made the Gladiator a hero, but you just stuck him on the sidelines and never did anything with the character.
Right.
So now you made him a villain again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And plus, people are familiar with him now because he's in the Daredevil show. And sure. He's got a little more weight behind him because people know who he is.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see if this is something that they're just doing in this one issue, or if they're going to bring him out and make a storyline out of this.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the backup story was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I apologize for all the banging, crashing.
It's okay. Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
It was better than the first one.
It was better than Vote Loki number 3.
Dude, I got about halfway through this and just couldn't do it.
If you got about halfway through, you got further than I did.
Let me just give you the quick version, because this book isn't bad, and I feel like I would actually enjoy this book if circumstances in the real world were a little different. But it's a tongue-in-cheek approach to the presidential election, and being 6 months behind and knowing where the election went and what's going on today, it just feels like salt in the wound. You know what it feels like? It feels like a joke in bad taste is what it feels like. Yeah. And of course, Marvel didn't know this when they decided to make this book. They had no way to know. But now it seems really bad, in really bad taste.
Yeah.
But you got some stuff going on in Latveria. Of course, Latveria, since Doom has disappeared, is kind of they're a Eastern European country without a leader. It's utter chaos. Loki's doing the Iowa State Fair, so he's eating, stupid food there's this panel where he's eating an ice cream cone with a cheeseburger, onion rings, and a caramel apple on top. And there's some debating going on. There's some tongue-in-cheek jokes about the debate, and then there's a terrorist attack in Latveria. Turns out Loki might have been the one who perpetrated that to further his own ends. And all the while you've got this one reporter who's following him and trying to crack the code. Yeah. Whatever, man.
Yeah. Whatever.
What was far more interesting was Punisher number 4.
Yeah, and it's just sad that we know we're reading. I don't know how many more issues we're going to get of Steve Dillon's art, but
yeah, apparently this is the project he was working on when he passed.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad that we're knowing we're getting the last of his art.
Yeah, and it's good too. It's really good.
It is good. Yeah,
and he's always done really good with the Punisher, so I feel like this is appropriate. It's sad, but it's appropriate.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get.
And by the way, I think we said it last month, and it needs to be reiterated. This is not for children.
Yeah, no. There's a parental advisory on the cover. That doesn't happen a whole lot anymore in comic books. So when they put a parental advisory on the cover, you got to know it's not for kids. It's barely for adults.
I don't even body count is in this issue.
Dude, I don't know. They kill a bunch of people, at least.
It's a bunch.
Anyway. Yeah, all these. Yeah, go ahead and recap it for us.
Well, it's just a giant chase / fight scene. I mean, facing his guys are trying to get the Punisher, and they're chasing him, and they're trying not to be caught. And at some point, the DEA joins the chase. Excuse me. And Frank Castle is being Frank Castle, and there's just bodies being left in his wake. And there you go.
Yeah. The little girl makes that alive. He takes her to get ice cream. Look, man, as long as the little girl gets out alive, if they'd killed the little girl in this book somewhere, I'd have just said, all right, I can't do it.
Yeah. And yeah, at the end, Frank Castle is walking away, and the DEA agents a little angry, and there's stuff blown up everywhere, and they're still going after him.
Yeah, and
it's a great book.
It's a classic Punisher book. I was going to say that they start interrogating the little girl who's only interested in her ice cream.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I stopped watching shows like The Walking Dead. I don't need stuff that's going to make me really depressed in my life. I just don't. There's enough bad things in the world that I could focus on if I want to be sad. I don't need it in my entertainment. I can watch the Punisher blow drug dealers' brains out all day and be fine, as long as the little girl survives.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah. But great art, good, solid Punisher story. I kind of enjoy this sort of solo Punisher thing they're doing. They're not trying to rope him into everything going on in Civil War. They're not trying to put him, they're not teaming him up with Spider-Man or Moon Knight or Doctor Strange or anybody or Daredevil. It's just the Punisher doing Punisher stuff.
Right.
Which to me is when he's at his best. And Becky Cloonan's writing this. I've never heard of her, but she can keep writing the Punisher for all I care.
Yeah, she's doing a great job with it, man. She is.
Agreed. Moving to Moon Knight number 5.
Hey, what a great book.
Dude, it's so good. But is this the last issue?
Oh, no.
I wouldn't think so, but it comes off as the last issue.
We have issues and months of Mark Spector's insanity to come.
Yeah. So picking up from the last book, Mark as Mr. Knight in the suit?
Yes.
Mr. Knight comes face to face with Moon Knight, which is weird. He goes chasing after him across a number of alternate timelines. One, he's excuse me. He's chasing him across the moon, and he gets chased by, I guess those are werewolves.
I guess
Werewolves on the moon,
yes,
something like that. And he keeps following him through different doors, and each door has a phase of the moon on it. So he follows him through one, and after he leaves the moon, he ends up on some sort of downstage.
And in each one of these, he's in a different persona of his mental illness. Each one of his split personalities, he's in a different one.
Right. So he goes from the soundstage to what looks like the 70s or the 80s, maybe. In one, he finds who's Marlene. This dude? No. Seth. He finds Seth locked up. Seth tells him that, this isn't my doing like you thought it was. You've been lied to. This is all Moon Knight's doing.
No, it's Khonshu's. Khonshu's. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's who Khonshu reveals himself to be. Is Mr. Knight finally finds Moon Knight, and he pulls the mask off, and it's Khonshu. And he basically tells him, "Listen, you're crazy. You don't know what's going on. If you want to be rid of this, why don't you just let me have your body so that I can inhabit your body, because this one's dying and I need to live, and you're nuts anyway, so it doesn't matter. So just let me have your body. Let me possess your body." Mark Spector says, "No thanks," jumps off the top of this pyramid and assumedly dies, only to wake up in a bed where he and Marlene are together, and they're going to go shoot a pyramid scene at a movie, and everything seems to be okay, except it's probably
understand this is one of Mark Spector's previous lives. He was in Hollywood or in he lived in Los Angeles, which I believe is where he met Marlene.
Yeah.
Had a lot of money. This is one of his previous lives. So, yeah. And this is far from over.
Good, because it said the end at the end of the book, and I was wondering if this was like just a 5-issue limited series. And I'm glad it's not.
No. If you flip over to the end of the letter page, it says if you thought in Egypt infused New York was wild, just wait until things go on in Hollywood.
Cool. Good, because I would like to continue reading this book.
I believe an issue came out this month, so yeah, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Cool. Continuing with the mystic theme, Doctor Strange number 10, wrapping up our Last Days of Magic storyline. Go ahead and recap it for us, if you would.
I'm trying to get it open so I can remember it, because I didn't really understand it. So he's fighting, what do you call the villain?
Empirical.
I just nearly knocked the iPad off again. He's fighting the Empirical. We did this last week. The Empirical.
Yeah.
And the thing where he cast all of his anger, his sin,
all of his anger, anger and pain. There's when you perform magic,
it's basically a sin eater. I know what it is, but
yeah,
it's basically a sin eater.
Yeah, when you cast magic, particularly a Sorcerer Supreme and the level of stuff that he has to do, there's a price to pay, and it's a physical price, and that's pain and suffering of some kind. Well, he's been casting it all off on this thing in the basement, and it's basically just become this living amalgamation of pain and suffering and evil.
Yeah. So He's fighting it, and this thing is watching him fight and enjoying watching Doctor Doom get his butt kicked.
Doctor Doom's not in this book.
Doctor Strange, work with me.
Dude, you said Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's not in this comic book, man. I'm just giving you a hard
but you're
time.
not here to see it.
No,
You're
I'm
not
just
here
giving
to
you-
see it. I gave you a look.
Yeah.
So he's trying to decide if he wants to see Doctor Strange die or if he wants to help him. And finally, he decides to help Doctor Strange. And he kills the Imperakill. Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Because I don't really understand. I mean, do the two merge?
Well, what
Or
happens
does he just they merge.
What happens is he decides that he wants to kill Doctor Strange instead, so he's going to kill the Imperakill so that he can have revenge on Doctor Strange. And he like Doctor Strange wears him like a suit for a second.
Yeah, that's what happens. But he doesn't do it without the thing's permission.
Right. So he agrees to help him in this instance so that the thing can kill Doctor Strange later. So he kills Imperakill, all of his robots die, and
I mean, I knew that was happening. I just didn't understand how the thing helped him.
Yeah, I guess
I'm gonna call it disintegrator because I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah,
I don't know how this
either
helped him.
I'm not sure. I don't think it really matters, but the consequences are the Imperical's gone, but magic is still dead. It's still gone. Yeah, so I think that's what Doctor Strange is going to figure out how to deal with that next. And just personally, I'm glad the story's over. Not that I didn't like the story, but we had it for 10 issues and I was ready to be done with it.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It just, I'm with you. It kind of drug on for a while.
Yeah.
And I apologize for the horrible recap. You asked me to recap a book that I really didn't understand.
No, I didn't. I understood it just about as well as you did. Yeah, that was my only complaint with it was it just drug on forever.
Yeah, ask me to recap Deadpool 16 or Deadpool vs. Gambit. I'm fine. Don't ask me to recap Marvel Tum Sum #1, dude. Don't even.
Oh, okay. Well, Squadron Supreme number 10 was.
I don't even know what those things are. I haven't even figured out what those little suckers are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Squadron
Supreme number 10. That I understand.
Squadron Supreme number 10. I forget what they're doing. I don't know why they're going to Germany for some reason or another.
No, they're going over there to attack one of Blue Marvel's bases. The problem is Ulysses has told Blue Marvel that they're coming. So,
right. So he's prepared for them.
He's prepared and just pretty much stomps the whole squadron's butt very quickly. Just sends them underway in a number of minutes. Yeah. And when they leave, Nighthawk disappears, and suddenly everyone's like, why are we following Nighthawk? And why is Nighthawk making all the decisions and we're not?
Yeah, they go back to their base and just begin a discussion like, hey, wait a minute. When did we decide we were Nighthawk's team? And when did we decide that he was the leader? And when did we decide we were just going to do whatever he said? With no questions asked.
Which I kind of
that's weird.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was something they had decided, but apparently not.
Yeah, no, apparently they never decided that, and they're trying to figure out why exactly they all feel the compulsion to do that, which is about the time the actual Power Princess shows up.
Yep.
And tells them the plot with Thundra, and that she's not who they think she is. And as they're getting ready to go,
Warrior Woman,
not Thundra. Yeah, Warrior Woman. I don't know. It's a warrior lady. They're all the same. That's probably sexist.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Oh well. um, as they're planning to go thwart, what is it, Thundra? No, Warrior Woman's plans.
Warrior Woman.
She's
Yes.
already attacking the Baxter Building.
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess Spider-Man's going to show up in the next issue because the Baxter Building's where he hangs out.
He's actually on the last panel. Yes.
Is he? Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
is. I didn't see him there the first time. I
Yeah.
saw that they were at the Baxter Building. I didn't realize he was actually there.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Yeah, Squadron Supreme was pretty good. The art's really good. I'm enjoying the story just fine. I think they're gonna resurrect Namor and bring him back into this.
Well, I've done flipped on to the next book, but the whole thing is this series is entitled "Resurrecting Namor," isn't it?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. If you flip back to the front, I think it's called "Resurrecting Namor" or something like that.
Oh well.
The storyline is.
All righty then.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me about Deadpool number 16 because I didn't read it.
It's I don't really understand the whole Mercs for Money thing, but this is kind of building on it. The idiots, all of them, Deadpool and the Mercs for Money, trapped themselves in a safe. And Solo, who I've always wondered why he was here, begins explaining why he's here. And it basically has to do with a job that he took for Deadpool in Washington, and the job went south. And he winds up being a hero because he saves an ambassador. The problem is he did it dressed as Deadpool, so nobody knows he's a hero. And it's an interesting little story, but what Deadpool realizes that Solo never figured out was that Madcap did it to make Deadpool look like an assassin. And the reason the whole thing went wrong and the ambassador was nearly assassinated was because he wanted Deadpool to look to frame Deadpool as the assassin. And if he had ever told Deadpool what happened there, then he obviously would, Deadpool obviously would have put two and two together because we've got the whole thing with Madcap a few issues before. Then at the end, we realized Madcap is still alive, which Deadpool obviously knew all along. And, things are still going sideways with the Mercs for Money, but it's obviously going to work out because they've got their own book. And I can tell you neither one of these books is getting canceled anytime soon.
Yeah, no, of course not. It's got Deadpool in the cover. It's going to sell millions of copies.
I don't get it, but they're selling. And I wish you would, if you're going to do the Mercs for Money, put them in their own book and leave Deadpool in this book by himself. That's what I wish they would do.
That's what they're doing, aren't they?
At this point, the
Mercs are still in all of them.
The Mercs are still in both, and I wish they'd leave Deadpool by himself in this one.
Yeah, hopefully once they get the Mercs for Money solo books going, it'll just be Deadpool in this book. Let's hope.
Let's hope. So do we want to talk about the Marvel book, or do we want to skip it and go to Deadpool Gambit?
We'll talk about this first issue. Marvel Sum Sum. If you don't know what a Sum Sum is, it's a plushie toy based on Disney properties that Marvel is issuing.
That I hate.
Marvel is issuing comic books to cross promote. The story of this book is okay. Tell me why you hate things.
Go to our website and look at the February covers. And for every comic book, there's a Sum Sum alternate cover. So I wind up posting like 60 extra covers so Marvel can sell Sum Sum covers and steal more of your money trying to get alternate covers.
Yeah. The story itself is not bad. It's actually kind of cute. The Guardians of the Galaxy are fighting some aliens who are shipping illegal cargo. Some of that cargo during a fight ends up on Earth. Turns out to be these little Sum Sum alien things that are alive. They take on the personalities of the various superheroes in the world. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, etc. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, well, it's a cross promotion comic book. It's not anything worth really reading, and we probably won't mention it again. But if it's your thing, sure, go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Clearly it's not your thing.
No, it's not my thing, and it irritated me that there's so many alternate covers.
So many covers.
Yeah,
I understand. Go ahead and tell us about Deadpool versus Gambit, because I didn't read that one either.
I've kind of this is another money grab.
Yeah.
You're just trying to sell a Deadpool book with Gambit in it, and it's okay. However, at least this one was entertaining because you've got this Chinese businessman that they're trying to rob, and his name's Fat Cobra, and somehow Gambit and Deadpool have lost their powers. So you've got several pages of this martial artist beating up Deadpool. And because Deadpool's healing powers aren't working properly, you've just got page after page after page of this guy executing martial art moves on Deadpool. And then you've got Gambit accidentally blowing up a woman's arm, which isn't very funny because his powers aren't working properly. So, as I said, this book actually got pretty good this issue. And then they go back to New York and see the Night Nurse and kind of regroup and get themselves together. And then they go back to New Orleans, where they run into a group of villains because they're trying to find some guy that they think can fix them. And Deadpool and Boomerang wind up sitting there drinking beer while Gambit fights all the villains. And then the Chinese guy that caused all this, Fat Cobra, winds up being one of the villains who appears. And turns out he's proud of Deadpool because Deadpool's still alive. So because he's so proud of Deadpool, he doesn't have his healing powers yet because there's some villain that somehow switched their powers. But he turns Deadpool into Deadpool Fist. Or Dead Fist. So Dead Fist. Yes. He has the powers.
Fist, but he's Deadpool.
He has the powers of Iron Fist, but he's Deadpool.
Oh, because so that's not.
If you turn to the last page, you see Deadpool in an Iron Fist costume, except he's, Deadpool.
Yeah, and it's not like, Iron Fist is coming out in very soon.
Well, this was 6 months ago, but
yes. Right, but that's when they started promoting Iron Fist, was 6 months ago.
I will say this book has been bad, and it's obviously a Deadpool money grab, but it got better this issue.
Well, that's something.
Yeah. It
At
improved.
least it got better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it could have gotten any worse.
I agree.
Yeah. The only way it could have gotten any worse is you have the same storyline, but everything's drawn in stick figures in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dude who drew the Kingpin could have drawn it.
And it would have been better.
No, that would have made it worse.
No? Okay. Well, all right then. Yeah. No Star Wars books this week, so that pretty much wraps us up. What was your favorite book this week?
I'm thinking either Iron Man or Moon Knight #5. And it's toss up.
It wasn't Deadpool versus Gambit #3?
Oh, no. I think I'm going to go Moon Knight #5. I really like that book. I really do.
Yeah, my favorite book this week is going to be Moon Knight #5.
I'm going to try and find time to go back and read all 5 of those issues.
Yeah, because if you read them all together as one in one sitting, I think it'll not just make more sense, but it'll be even more enjoyable.
And we didn't discuss this, and I kind of wanted to touch on it at the top of the podcast, but we kind of rambled some. Legion came out this week, and I think we both finally had time to see it now.
Yeah.
And at the end of the episode, he grabs Sid and says, "Is this real, or am I insane in imagining it?" Because he knows he's insane. But at that moment, he has to know, is this really real? And that's where Mark Spector is. He knows he's crazy, Okay. He knows he's insane, but at some point he's got to grab onto some form of reality. And you know he's crazy, and you know this whole book is crazy, but at some point you're trying to figure out what's real and what's not. And that's what's really cool about this book.
Yeah. And it's what I really enjoy about the Moon Knight series as a whole, is that you're never quite sure what's real and what isn't.
Yeah. And that's where this book is. You don't really know what's real and what's in Mark Spector's mind. And that Legion show was great, man. That whole thing was.
Before we get to the classic read, and kind of in the same vein, there's actually a character close up in the Discover tab of Legion this week, and I flipped through a couple of those books, particularly his first appearance in New Mutants from back in the day, and a couple others. And
that will be our classic read then.
Oh, did you not have one?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's got his first appearance in New Mutants from 1983. The Muir Island saga, where he's under the influence of the Shadow King. Legion Quest, where he begins the Age of Apocalypse. And then I skipped down to X-Men Legacy from 2012, where he kind of gets reintroduced. And that's a good book too. My only problem is, particularly where this Legion Quest book, it begins in this issue, and this is from it's number 320, but it's from the late 80s, early 90s. There's no 1995. You read that first issue, X-Men 321 and 322 and 323 aren't there. So if you wanted to read that and got interested in it, because it leads up to the Age of Apocalypse stuff, all the stuff that happens in this issue and in the subsequent story are the events that kick off the Age of Apocalypse and begin the Age of Apocalypse universe, which they have to prevent. But if you wanted to read that, it ain't there. Just the one issue.
I love it when they do that. I just love it when they do that.
Yeah, isn't it great? Yeah. In the dump this week were a bunch of Spider-Man books. It's been a bunch of Spider-Man books for a while now. My guess is it's all 90s stuff. So my guess is they're backloading stuff for this Dead No More Clone Saga thing that they're getting ready to do. So that you'll have plenty of backup
next
stuff.
Week.
Oh, is it next week? Okay, cool. Well, I guess that's what their aim is to have some stuff ready to go. So if you haven't watched Legion on FX yet, I would highly recommend it. It's very good. Even just the first episode, go read some stuff about Legion if you're interested. And that pretty much wraps us up. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com, and you can visit our website at
www.6monthsbehind@gmail. No, that's the email.
No, that's the email.
That's the website, www.6monthsbehind.com.
Fantastic. Pat, do you have any wisdom?
We have done an outstanding job. Yes. Humans are the only species who cut trees, make paper from it, and then write on this paper, save the trees.
You're correct. You're going to say something about we've done a fantastic job.
Dude, we're so on top of our game tonight. From the technical problems before we began to my iPad crashing to the very end. We're on it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.